Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads, it's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The white horsetail whip in Madame Tina's hand erupted with blinding spirit light, growing larger as it spun through the air. In a terrifying display of power, the whip transformed into dozens of white pythons, their eyes gleaming with malice as they bared their fangs. The very air seemed to tremble with the force of their impending attack. The pythons breathed heavily, their very presence seeming to herald an impending explosion. The air crackled with deadly energy.
Dear God, those things look ready to tear us apart.
With death hurtling towards them, Zane sprang into action.
Thunderbolt Fist!
Golden flames erupted from Zane's palm, coalescing into a massive handprint that shot toward the oncoming pythons. But Zane's attack proved futile. The python's blood tore through Zane's attack like paper, its roar echoing as it continued its relentless charge. At that moment, the vast gulf between the expert level and the intermediate level became painfully apparent. As Zane and Elora braced for the end, an unexpected savior emerged. Albert, with a mere flick of his finger, sent out a blade of light that cleanly severed the python's head.
Madame Tina, Zane deserves to die. Trust me, I hate him more than you do. But I can't let Elora die. If she's hurt, these peace negotiations are as good as over.
Zane's eyes widened in shock at Albert's words.
What the hell? What does Elora have to do with these peace talks? Is there some connection between her, Madame Tina, and Kai that involves the Great Eastern Palm?
He racked his brains, desperately trying to piece together the puzzle of Elora's involvement, but the answers eluded him. Madame Tina, her eyes bloodshot and teeth grinding in fury, reluctantly held back her attack.
You killed my son. I swear I'll make you wish you were dead. Very soon.
Zane's brow furrowed, a sense of unease settling in his gut, despite the immediate danger has passed. Ethan Wright, leader of the Seven Kingdoms Alliance, rose to his feet, commanding the attention of all present.
Today, the Seven Kingdoms Alliance has reached a peace agreement with the Great Eastern Palm. Both sides have agreed to the following terms.
As he listed off the various articles of the agreement, Zane and the others listened intently.
1. The Great Eastern Palm and the Seven Kingdoms Alliance will establish a specific transmission formation for teleportation. 2. The Seven Kingdoms Alliance will pay 500 million crystals to the Great Eastern Palm in exchange for mining rights to the Sun-Scorched Mine located on the western side of the Great Eastern Palm. 3. Any party breaking this agreement will face the consequences of annihilation.
As Ethan continued, it became clear that this agreement encompassed over 500 regulations, reshaping the relationship between the two nations.
532. Elora, a disciple of the Titan Academy of the Five Spirits sect of Yarrow Kingdom, will be presented as a tribute to Elder Sebastian of the Godwill sect.
A collective gasp rippled through the hall as the true nature of Elora's involvement was revealed.
Wait just a damn minute. What the hell is going on? Why is Elora being used as a bargaining chip in these negotiations? A tribute to Sebastian? What's he planning to do with her? Treat her like some object? Some animal?
His voice trembled with a mixture of rage and disbelief, his world crumbling around him.
Now you understand the pain of losing everything, don't you, Zane? Let me spell it out for you. I'm the one who arranged for Elora to be given to Sebastian. How does it feel, knowing the person you love most will be handed over to a man over 100 years old?
Her laughter cut through the air like daggers, each cackle driving deeper into Zane's heart. Desperate for some sign that this was all a cruel joke, he turned to Elora, grasping her hand tightly.
Tell me this is all fake. It can't be true, right? Elora, please say something.
But Elora's pained expression and refusal to meet his gaze spoke volumes.
If you're so keen on serving some old geezer, why don't you do it yourself, elders? Why force Elora into this?
We didn't force her. This was her choice. If you don't believe me, ask her yourself.
I don't believe it!
Zane, Listen, I volunteered for this.
His world seemed to shatter at Elora's words, his mind refusing to accept what he was hearing.
No! No!
Oh, of course she didn't do it voluntarily. I threatened her. If she refused, you would have died 100 times over. She made this choice because of you.
The weight of her words crashed down on Zane, the realization of her sacrifice cutting deeper than any blade.
Because of me, Elora, you decided to sacrifice yourself for me.
As the truth sank in, a spark of determination ignited in his eyes.
Now I know who the real enemy is. I can't beat them. But I'll be damned if I don't try for Elora's sake. I don't care if I die. I disagree with this arrangement. I won't allow it.
You're just a mere brat at the intermediate level. You don't have the right to speak here. Elora, hurry up and do as you promised. Come here.
Elora, tears streaming down her face, clung tightly to Zane's hand, unwilling to let go.
Marcus, bring that girl here.
Yes, sir.
Marcus, a burly man at the 9th stage of the intermediate level, stepped forward at Albert's command. Marcus's fingers curled into menacing claws as he approached Elora, his intent clear.
Didn't you hear? Time to go.
Marcus's reckless charge towards Zane was a fatal mistake. In his anger, Zane had become a powder keg ready to explode, and Marcus had just lit the fuse. Zane's head dropped, his expression darkening like storm clouds gathering. His killing intent, an almost visible aura of murderous energy, surged around him. He put his fingers together, forming a deadly blade with his hand.
Get lost!
Zane's voice boomed like thunder, reminiscent of a dragon's mighty roar. As he spoke, his fingers came together in a chopping motion, unleashing a torrent of lethal energy. A wave of razor-sharp sword energy erupted from Zane's hand, slicing through the air towards Marcus like a blade forged in the depths of hell itself.
Oh no, that's Black Milva's shield.
Panic etched itself across Marcus's face as he realized the ferocity of Zane's attack. In a desperate attempt to defend himself, he hastily conjured a white shield of energy, but his shield might as well have been made of paper. The sword energy tore through it effortlessly, continuing its deadly path toward its target. Blood gushed from Marcus's mouth as the reality of his imminent demise sank in. In mere seconds, Marcus was reduced to little more than scattered pieces, cut apart by Zane's devastating attack. The gruesome scene sent shockwaves through the assembled crowd. Even the mighty figures present couldn't hide their frowns of concern. The stars of 10 palaces and the great generals standing near Zane were particularly stunned. While killing someone at the 9th stage of the intermediate level might not typically be earth-shattering, this was different. Marcus was Albert's subordinate, a representative of the Great Eastern Palm. Zane's actions amounted to a brazen declaration of war, right to Albert's face.
Has Zane lost his mind? Doesn't he fear death?
Of course Zane feared death. No one in this world was truly free from the fear of dying. But there was something Zane feared even more, losing those he cared about most. Elora was willing to sacrifice everything for Zane. How could he do any less for her?
How dare you kill my subordinate? David, capture Zane Martell now.
Albert's order sent a shockwave through the great generals, David Sullivan included. Their faces paled as the implication sank in.
Capture Zane? Is Albert out of his mind? We'd be lambs to the slaughter.
General, I'm afraid that...
Are you disobeying a direct order?
The threat hung heavy in the air. In the Great Eastern Palm, martial strength was revered, but so was the chain of command. Disobeying orders, especially in a military context, carried severe consequences. The punishment for insubordination ranged from the destruction of one's cultivation to dismemberment, or even having one's soul ripped out and cast into the 9 abyss hell, a fate many considered worse than death.
Damn it all, we have no choice. Let's go.
David gritted his teeth and took the lead, the other great generals falling in behind him. Their reluctance was palpable, but even a slim chance of survival was better than certain doom. Caleb watched the scene unfold, his face a mask of anguish. He moved to intervene, but a firm hand stopped him.
Don't, Caleb. Do you want to start another war?
But Grandpa, they're gonna kill Zane.
Just be quiet.
Caleb's shoulders slumped in defeat. He could only watch helplessly as the situation spiraled out of control. The air filled with deadly intent as the cultivators launched their assault on Zane. Of the 7 great generals, only 4 remained. These, along with 6 other practitioners at the 8th stage of the intermediate level, formed a group of about 10 cultivators moving to attack him. Streams of sword energy sliced through the air, while ice and fire elemental attacks lit up the sky. The combined power of their attacks was overwhelming, all aimed at ending his life. But his fury had reached its boiling point. He no longer cared about the motivations behind David and the others' actions. In his eyes, they were all obstacles to be removed.
Annoying scum, get out of my way!
Zane's eyes blazed with determination. He executed the Wind Serpent step, his mastery over wind allowing his body to vanish completely, leaving no trace behind.
What the hell? He's too fast!
Even the powerful Albert and Madame Tina couldn't hide their astonishment.
Has he reached major completion in the power of the wind? At such a young age? This is impossible!
We can't let him live. He'll become a huge problem for us in the future.
In a flash, Zane reappeared in the air. Green energy swirled around his fingers, coalescing into hundreds of terrifying sword energy projectiles. The sound of sword energy tearing through flesh filled the air. In mere moments, 17 or 18 of the attackers fell, their lives snuffed out by his overwhelming power. Only a few of the great generals and the strongest among them managed to hold on, but their resistance was clearly futile.
God damn it! Why am I caught in the middle of this mess?
David gritted his teeth, desperately swinging his longsword. Ice energy burst forth, barely managing to deflect Zane's relentless sword energy. The other generals weren't as fortunate, each sustaining varying degrees of injury. The scene was nothing short of astounding. In just 3 minutes, Zane had single-handedly suppressed 10 of the Great Eastern Palm's elite warriors. This display of power caught Thomas's attention, his eyes lighting up with a mix of pride and distress.
Zane and Alora, I've watched them grow up. I opposed this tribute arrangement, but against Madame Tina's might, I was helpless.
Thomas's brow furrowed, the blood energy in his body roiling with indecision. He wanted to help Zane, but his position didn't allow for such interference. Thomas's gaze shifted to Ethan Gale as he muttered to himself.
Father, you might have made the wrong choice this time. Perhaps Zane was the one we should have backed all along.
Devour!
Zane appeared beside the fallen bodies, his power reaching out to absorb their residual vital energy and blood essence. As the energy of the 9th stage intermediate level cultivators flooded into him, Zane's own vital energy surged, crackling with newfound power. In a stunning display, Zane's aura exploded outward. The shackles of the 8th stage of the intermediate level shattered, propelling him into the 9th stage.
Monster! He's an absolute monster!
David watched in horror as Zane achieved a breakthrough during battle. The already significant gap in their power had just become an unbridgeable chasm.
I give up! I can't beat Zane!
As the bodies of his comrades littered the ground around him, David Sullivan's will to fight crumbled entirely.
David Sullivan, do you realize what you're doing?
You're at the expert level, so why don't you handle this yourself? It would save us a lot of trouble.
His patience had reached its limit. He turned to face Albert, his expression a mix of fear and defiance.
I'm sorry, but I'd rather face punishment than continue this futile battle against Zane Martel. Besides, you don't have the authority to decide my punishment, do you?
He then turned to Zane, his demeanor shifting to one of cautious respect.
I surrender. I didn't mean to attack you earlier. It was just orders, you know?
As he spoke, he began to back away, eager to put distance between himself and Zane. Albert watched this display, his teeth grinding in frustration. The thought of being unable to handle a mere intermediate-level cultivator was beyond embarrassing. If word of this got out, it would be a massive blow to the prestige of the Godwill sect. Albert was burning with rage. His gaze was fixed on Zane as he took off his war helm. The heavy helmet hit the stone floor with a hollow clang. His trembling hands worked at the clasps of his robe, his fingers clumsy with rage. The bulky fabric slithered from his shoulders and pooled at his feet like spilled ink.
I've had it now!
Albert yelled, but the voice wasn't entirely his own. His frame began to expand. The careful posture he'd maintained dissolved as his shoulders broadened and his spine lengthened. Muscles rippled beneath his tunic, straining the fabric until seams creaked in protest. It seemed to everyone that Albert's cultivation was increasing, but it was his face that truly betrayed the transformation. Gone was the measured expression of a military general. His features twisted, becoming sharper, more primal. Blood vessels burst in his eyes, flooding the whites with crimson until they blazed like hot coals.
Is this really how the Seven Kingdoms Alliance handles things?
Albert's words put everyone on edge. Handing over Allura was a key part of the peace deal. If they refused, war might break out again. Everyone knew what was at stake. Some high-level fighters from other groups stepped up to speak.
Think about the big picture, Zane. Stop this madness. Allura's being sacrificed for the good of both the Seven Kingdoms Alliance and the Great Eastern Palm. Shouldn't you be proud of her?
Proud? You've got to be kidding.
Zane's words dripped with sarcasm. He'd rather not have peace if it meant losing Allura. He shot back.
Why don't you hand over your mother? I'm sure she'd be thrilled to be sacrificed.
How dare you? I'll kill you myself and hand over Allura for peace.
The martial practitioner at the first stage of the advanced level from the Iron Hill sect was furious after Zane's insult. He charged at Zane, his hands twisting like they were made of fire.
It's the warrior's soul. An advanced level practitioner is getting involved. This should end things quickly.
The intermediate level practitioners were no match for the advanced level cultivators. A martial practitioner in the advanced level had already condensed a warrior soul. In terms of battle and spiritual strength, they were several times that of the intermediate level. Even though this guy was only at the first stage of the advanced level, the gap between him and Zane was huge.
You'll pay for your big mouth, Zane. You'll be a stepping stone for peace. Sacred Burning Devil Hand.
He attacked with both hands, and flames erupted. His arms turned into huge fire pillars falling from the sky, ready to crush Zane.
So this is the strength of an advanced level practitioner. He's strong, but no matter how strong, I'll take him down. Mr. Black, lend me your power.
Zane sent a message to Mr. Black in the storage ring. Mr. Black had seen everything through the Black Abyss sword and was just as angry.
Go for it, Zane. Kill him. Do what you need to, and I'll back you up.
A black shadow flashed, and the Black Abyss sword appeared in Zane's hand. Suddenly, a demon-like sword energy burst out from both of them. The sword energy was so strong it almost blew out the fire pillars.
What the hell is that?
The other guy was shocked. He hadn't even seen Zane move, but the Black Abyss sword had appeared out of nowhere, sending waves of energy at him. The sword wave was like a dragon that could suck out life. It mixed with wind power and rushed at the guy at an incredible speed.
Ah!
Screams filled the air as the sharp sword energy cut through the man's defenses and skin. Blood covered the ground. There was a thud as a body hit the ground. It was the advanced level practitioner from the Iron Hill sect. Everyone was stunned. An intermediate level cultivator had just killed an advanced level practitioner, and he made it look easy. They wondered if Zane was even human. He was incredibly talented and strong. Madame Tina couldn't keep quiet anymore and scolded Zane.
Zane, as an elder of the Five Spirit sect, I order you to stop this right now and hand over Allura, or you'll face punishment.
Have you all completely lost your mind?
Zane was shocked and stopped fighting. He looked at Madame Tina, who had an evil look on her face. He wondered what kind of group would use its own people as sacrifices.
Is this how an elder of the Five Spirit sect acts? If the sect keeps doing this, I'm out.
Hold your tongue, bastard.
Madame Tina's forehead veins popped out. She was furious. Zane quitting the sect in public? That was embarrassing. Nearby, Ethan Gale got serious. He frowned and whispered,
Zane, I know you're smart, but do you have to do this? Won't you regret it?
There's no way I'll regret it.
Ethan smiled a little.
Well, I, Ethan Gale, like talented people. I promise the expert level guys won't touch you in this hall. If you're strong enough, kill all the advanced level practitioners in your way and get Allura out of here.
Zane was surprised. Was the Five Spirit sect's big boss helping him? He then noticed Thomas standing next to Ethan. Thomas must have said something to him. Zane looked at Thomas gratefully and nodded, promising to remember this favor. Thomas, for his part, admired Zane.
You're special, Zane. The Sword King's Black Abyss sword picked you. Do not die here.
Thomas thought to himself. He had recognized the Sword King's Black Abyss sword. The mess in the peace negotiation hall was like throwing a rock in a calm lake. It would settle soon, but the war talk and chaos would only get bigger. Albert was getting angry as things got worse.
How dare you? Is this how your Seven Kingdoms alliance should act? Fine. If you won't dare make a move, I will.
Albert, getting madder, reached out and made a strong pulling force.
Elora, come here.
The force grabbed Elora, pulling her to Albert.
Zane!
Elora held Zane's hand tight, not letting go. Her face was white with fear as she was being pulled away.
Stop it, Albert.
Zane yelled as he grabbed the Black Abyss sword. All his power exploded as he swung his sword at Albert. The sword energy was immensely strong, and the sword light was sharp, but the difference in strength was clear. Albert was 2 levels above Zane. Albert easily hit the sword energy with his hand, breaking it like glass. He grabbed Elora and glared at Zane.
The show's over. You're dead once the peace talks end, Zane.
Albert didn't take Zane seriously at all. He grabbed Elora and walked out proudly.
Stop!
Zane's voice got really serious as the hall went quiet.
If you don't stop, I'll kill you right now.
Nobody in the hall cared about what he said. Zane killing someone at the expert level? That was crazy talk. Only a fool would believe it.
Zane, if you want to escape with Elora, I'll use all my power to hold them back.
No need. Mr. Black, you'll use up all your sword power and disappear, right? I'll do it myself.
Do it yourself? What can you do against Albert? He's at the expert level.
Mr. Black tried to convince Zane. After spending time together, Mr. Black liked Zane and didn't want him to die badly. But Zane stayed calm. He walked forward with a cold face, now facing Albert directly.
Albert, you can leave this hall if you're not scared of dying, but don't regret it.
Zane's words were heavy and he seemed really serious. But no one in the hall thought his threat was real. They believed it was impossible for Zane to fight someone as strong as Albert. Albert stopped, shocked. He couldn't help but laugh.
Kill me? That's the funniest joke ever. Go ahead. Show me how you'll kill me.
Albert tossed Elora to a helper nearby and told him to wait. Then he stretched out his hands and looked at Zane.
Come on then, punk. But don't be sorry later.
Zane's eyes flashed gold. What happened next made everyone present, including those in the expert level, tremble with fear. Zane moved his left hand, and the divine bow mark on it lit up. The 9 genuine flames burst out, burning Zane's arm. This fireball felt so strong it could destroy everything. Then the fire moved, and it sounded like a phoenix screaming. That flame had turned into a divine bow in Zane's hand. The golden red divine bow was the Great One's weapon. Zane used it last when he was at the Foundation stage. Back then, he couldn't use its real power at all. But now the divine bow gave off a scary feeling like it could wreck the world. Even the dark clouds above the hall all came together. The sky edge looked like it was torn into a big hole. Thunder roared and terrible power rolled in the air. The ground felt heavy for no reason. Suddenly, the earth sank and started shaking. All this happened just because the divine bow showed up.
What kind of weapon is that? It's so scary. Is it a genuine energy artifact?
No way. There's no way a genuine energy artifact would possess such a terrifying aura. Could it be a divine weapon? I've never seen such a terrifying divine weapon before.
People were talking, but Zane was calm. He held the divine bow with one hand and pulled the string with the other. The moment he touched the bowstring, a large amount of vital energy left his body. Slowly, the bowstring opened. Finally, the bowstring was fully drawn, and hot flames burst out continuously. The horror and brilliance of the flames were dozens of times stronger than the power of fire. No, they were hundreds, thousands of times stronger. The raging flames burned Zane's vital energy and body, and his flesh and blood began to evaporate. Looking at the golden fire arrow, Albert got a bit scared. His face changed, and he was shocked.
What kind of weapon is this? How can it feel so strong? No, I can't let that arrow hit me. You want to kill me? I'll kill you first.
Albert attacked, showing his expert-level strength. Using all his power, a yellow tiger spirit appeared around him. The tiger spirit roared and showed its teeth and claws to attack. At this moment, Zane let go of the arrow.
Go to hell!
The golden fire arrow flew from the string, and a three-legged golden crow phantom wrapped around it. Wherever it passed, everything would be burned to ashes. The fierce tiger spirit was hit by the three-legged golden crow, covered in sword radiance, and burned by 9 genuine flames. The spirit was gone. To be more exact, it should have melted. Albert's spirit turned into a puddle of water from Zane's arrow. Albert couldn't believe his eyes.
Damn it! What is this? Is this real?
Even the other expert-level masters looked scared and started cursing. Even Madame Tina and Ethan looked at each other, not believing what they saw. What was happening? Were they dreaming? If not, how could things turn out like this? The arrow, made stronger by the 9 genuine flames, flew straight at Albert. Now Albert finally saw how strong the divine bow was.
I'm dead. For sure. If that hits me, I'm done for.
The flames on the arrow looked like they could burn anything in the world. Energy, flesh, blood, life. They were all the same. Albert's attack was nothing compared to this. He quickly turned and ran to the hall's exit, changing direction now and then. But the three-legged golden crow kept chasing him. No matter how Albert changed direction, it was always right behind him. Was a practitioner at the expert level going to die in the hands of someone at the intermediate level? Everyone was shocked and confused. There was a loud noise outside and the ground shook. A huge cloud of smoke rose far away. The raging flames melted all the plants and animals there. The clouds in the sky split apart and the air disappeared. No one knew what happened to Albert, but he was probably dead. Right then, Madame Tina reacted. She pointed at Zane and shouted at the guards,
"Get him!"
But nobody moved. They were all scared they'd end up like Albert. However, 90% of the vital energy in Zane's body had been drained after using the divine bow. His body was extremely weak. It was as though a breeze could extinguish the flame of Zane's life. Even his vital energy had been exhausted. His whole body was on the verge of collapse as he staggered toward Elora. Seeing this chance, the martial practitioner in the advanced level, who was holding Elora, started running out of the hall. He ran without stopping. Since Zane killed Albert, he was too scared to face Zane.
Let go of Elora! Damn, did I mess up?
The shocked people saw how weak Zane was. They knew he was done for, so they all started rushing out.
Ha ha! You're strong, I admit, but you can't do anything now. That divine weapon is mine.
No way. Only I deserve that weapon. Get lost.
In the blink of an eye, 3 martial practitioners of the advanced level rushed out in an attempt to kill Zane and snatch the divine bow. This was the divine bow that could cross 2 levels and kill someone at the expert level. Who wouldn't be tempted by such a treasure?
Move it! Get out of my way!
Zane's body swayed. Even though he didn't have much vital energy left, he managed to pull the divine bow a little bit. 3 arrows flew out, each one burning with intense flames, and killed the incoming enemies. There was not even a corpse left. They were burned into ashes by the 9 genuine flames. Even so, more people wanted the bow, including Madame Tina, who was watching with greedy eyes.
Zane, give me that bow right now.
Madame Tina landed in front of Zane, staring at the divine bow. Just as she was about to make a move, a figure flashed before her. It was Eric Helm. Eric grabbed Zane and ran out of the hall without stopping. His expression was serious, and he finally understood what Elora had asked him to do.
Elora and Zane are crazy.
Zane wanted to break free and kill the person who had taken Elora away.
Let me go, Eric. I need to save Elora.
Zane was so weak he could barely move. It was almost impossible for him to break free from Eric.
Calm down, Zane. You're so weak now, you'll just die for nothing.
Even if I die, I have to go after him, so...
What about Elora? You saved her, then she sees you die and gets caught again. Is that what you want?
Eric's words hit hard and Zane calmed down. realizing what was going on.
You're right, I'm too weak right now. They'll only be afraid of me if I'm strong enough. Eric, run faster. Let's get out of here. I need to get stronger and save Elora.
Eric smiled sadly. It sounded easy, but it was really hard. The wind blew behind them as dozens of advanced level practitioners and 2 practitioners of the expert level were chasing after them.